Taking notes during lectures or when going through learning materials is important. By now you already know that note-taking is a fundamental building block of your learning process. Taking notes is one thing. Making notes is next level. It is only by improving your note-taking skills and making the right transition from being a note-taker to a note-maker that you can build a personal knowledge management system which grows and accumulates value for you over time. Note-making is the key skill that allows you to build the right foundation for your knowledge tree, one that will keep on giving and will serve you not only now during your academic career, but for years to come. This may sound too good to be true, as you'll see in this module, but you can achieve astonishing results just by putting in the initial time and effort to understand and implement note-making as an integral step in your learning process. You need to tend to all the components of your systems thinking and treat them with the attention they deserve, so that they in turn can solidify and deepen your understanding of different concepts. It will help you shape your unique perspective over time. Note-making allows you to do just that, and it does so by enabling you to make sense of what you learn in a way that is both understandable and meaningful to you through the notes that you take and ultimately make. You already know that everything goes back to the humble note, and you are familiar with best practices for note-taking in lectures. But how do you make notes? That's what this module is focused on. What is note-making? We all know how to take notes in one way or another, but making notes is a very important yet often overlooked step in making your lecture notes coherent and useful in the long run. However, note-making is not just about organizing or summarizing your notes. It is a process of reviewing, connecting, and ultimately synthesizing ideas from different inputs in a way that is meaningful and useful to you. In other words, and as the man behind the Tetle method for note-making, Niklas Luhmann, believed, a note is only as valuable as its context. Note-making is the process in which you create that context for your notes. We've all been there, going back to old notes from an old class in search of something only to find those notes too vague and impossible to understand without the original context. That can be very frustrating and wasteful, but it can also easily be avoided by starting to make better, more useful notes now. When making notes, you have to think about your future self who will read what you write today. Make yourself understood now, so that you can build upon it later instead of having to start from scratch. Unfortunately, most notes by most people are just taken without considering the bigger picture and without being made into notes within a well-functioning knowledge system. There's a place for these scribbled down ideas and fleeting notes, and they might serve you well. But there's more that can and should be done with them. It may surprise you, or you may have experienced this on some level already, but unless your notes relate to you, and in particular to the future you, in one way or another, they will be useless to you over time, even if they seem concise and perfect. This is exactly where note-making comes in, because ultimately the quality of the notes you make matters. Remember, you're the one who's linking your thinking through your notes within your personal knowledge management system. So you are the first one who needs to understand them. In fact, your future you needs to understand them. But when you write them, try to explain them to who you were 1 or 2 years ago. This way, you can channel your curiosity and have yourself re-encourage you when you find your note again in the future. To do this, your notes need to be easy to understand for you, and they need to provide enough context and connect to at least one other idea in your knowledge tree for lasting results. That's the only way in which what you are learning and thinking can be interlinked, allowing you to reap the benefits over time and achieve great results. On top of knowing how to make valuable notes, you have to be able to link your notes. At its core, note-making comes down to creating and customizing your own learning material. And over time, your notes can become a rich source of inspiration for new ideas and discussions that will help you find unique perspectives and new insights along the way. All of this may sound laborious and difficult, and there's no way around it. It initially is, but you already know that learning requires effort. Why not make that effort last your lifetime? Think of it this way. This is perhaps the most valuable time investment you can make. This is the key to becoming an expert lifelong learner. And learning is something you'll have to do, and I hope that you want to do all your life. So organize your learning work in a system that, over time, rewards you with rediscoveries that create value and that is enjoyable. By now, you know that everything is connected and that ideas evolve just like you and your goals and projects do. It is only by connecting the dots, finding the relationship between core ideas and concepts across multiple disciplines over time, that you can develop your system thinking, gain unique skills, and build a unique perspective that will serve you in all areas of life. You can start doing all that by developing effective note-making skills. With a good technique and an effective system in place, you can spark your creativity in the future. Your efforts will have a compounding interest and will only gain value over time. If you really think about it, there's nothing more valuable than that. In its essence, note-making is a distillation process of your thoughts which opens you up to conversations with your most valuable listener, yourself. Gradually, and as you add more to your ever-growing notes by using this method, you will be able to reuse and recycle ideas for different purposes and outputs, or use them to germinate new ones, while never losing sight of the bigger picture. After a while, you will be able to use this system as a shortcut for outlining essays, seminar papers, pitches, book chapters and articles, and whatever else you may need. The most important thing is for you to create a note-taking and note-making process that works for you and your specific needs now and in the future. What matters most about your notes is that you can easily retrieve them, make sense of them, and interlink them within contexts that are useful to you. Over time, your notes will accumulate and evolve into a living system that is unique to you. You can develop your own second brain. But how can you develop and nurture that second brain? You guessed it, by taking and making better notes that relate to you as a person. If you want to become a leader in any field, you have to set up a system that guides your thinking, nourishes your thoughts, and allows new ideas to emerge. You can't just wait for it to happen. Ultimately, the way in which you're interacting with the material you're learning determines how best to proceed with information and how best to capture and make notes. You are the creator of your ideas, and that is fantastic. A lot of these developments around note-making are related to the Tetle method. This method, also known as the slipbox method, was developed by the German sociologist Niklas Luhmann. At first glance, this method looks cumbersome and hard to follow, since it is based on writing notes on index cards and tagging them, not according to subject, but according to their context and intended use. But once you understand the Tetle method and start using it, you realize that the system gradually mimics the way your brain functions. It becomes an extension of your brain, giving you a lot of freedom and range in whatever subject you choose to tackle. The main point is not to create an encyclopedia, but to create a useful personal knowledge management system with a focus on what really counts: thinking, understanding, and developing new ideas. While the original Tetle method is based on pen and paper, there's nothing stopping you from using a digital system as long as you follow a few simple principles. The book How to Take Smart Notes by Sönke Ahrens is a great modern-day guide to better understanding and adapting this method to your needs. As with anything, there are a number of best practices when it comes to note-making and developing your personal knowledge management system. Some of these best practices are the following. First, make note-taking and note-making an integral part of your study habits. It may take a bit longer now, but think of it as a long-term investment. You won't be sorry. You have to absorb information in a way that you can always reference later. Trust your process. Aim for your master thesis, but allow yourself to use these learning habits that you're building up now to support you on your lifelong learning journey beyond academia. Second, to make better notes, you need to become an active and engaged learner by understanding how and why you're learning what you're learning. Consider how that material relates to what you want to create, And if that is unclear for the moment, enjoy the delight of your own curiosity. Third, familiarize yourself with the Tetle custom method in order to optimize your learning workflow. Over time, you'll see how making atomic notes can benefit you in your learning. Fourth, make contextual, concept-oriented notes of the ideas you get as you get them while you read and learn. Make capturing notes easy, for example by using the speech-to-text functions in your smartphone. Fifth, make notes that are relevant, important, or inspiring to you in one way or another. Write to explain to your past self, and then at some point edit your writing to make it skimmable with highlights and a clear structure to increase the chance that your future self can easily grasp the core idea. This also makes it easy to publish your notes if you want to document your thinking process and want feedback from others. Sixth, after you capture your notes, you need to make sure they are accessible to you. File your notes in the most useful, context-based way that you can think of that suits your needs. There are several excellent software solutions out there. Take your time to find the one that works for you. Process and integrate your notes, regardless of the origin, into the system of your choice. Seventh, connect each note to at least one other note, idea or concept within your knowledge tree. The more connections you make, the better the system will serve you in time, so aim for more than one connection. Eighth, remember, no idea is single use. Keep reorganizing and repurposing your notes. Soon, you will have a second brain with a multitude of benefits that you can refer to in all areas of your life. The primary purpose of taking notes and making notes is to have ways of absorbing and retaining useful information that we can systematically reference later. Still, many of us struggle to make notes that are meaningful and useful when we need to refer back to them. That is why adopting strategies that help you take notes and make notes are of utmost importance. Ultimately, the most important thing is for you to create a personal web of knowledge and figure out a system that allows you to stay in control of that growing knowledge web. Regardless of the system you choose, the most important thing to focus on as you improve your note-making skills and studying habits is the ability to retrieve information reliably. Don't get discouraged if the process seems daunting. Trust yourself and the process. Soon, you'll enjoy the benefits of developing unique perspectives and exploring new horizons. It's time for you not only to take smarter notes, but to take your notes to the next level by making them into interconnected notes that will keep on giving for years to come.